All right, all right. We are getting ready to kick off right on time for our day 4 of our 5-day challenge. If you are tuning in for the first time or you are returning, welcome. We're glad to have you. If you'd be so kind enough to just throw in the stream below, whether you're watching this on Facebook, on our high level channel, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, go ahead and comment where you're tuning in from, whether you want to add the city, the state, the country, whatever works for you works for me. But we love to know where our viewers are coming from. And as always, as we go through the course and we are going through different parts of the content, the practical, please make sure to jot down your questions. If you have any questions, any feedback, any best practices, throw them in the chat, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. We would definitely love to include those or just have them visible to the rest of the audience. So we definitely encourage engagement and response. So I'm just going to check a few things here to make sure we are good to go. And then we'll be kicking off here. See here. Pull this up. For those of you that are returning, or those of you that are watching this on replay, if you're watching this on replay, make sure to make your way into the course and to also go through that content. What we find from time to time is that folks will just watch the live session and they'll grab a snapshot from somebody in the group and they almost forget or don't even know that they can have the other part of the training available to them in the university section that has additional information and step-by-step guides on implementation. So we appreciate your energy, your excitement, and the problem solving, but we want to make sure that you get full access to the entire course experience and that you have everything the way it needs to be up and running. So if you have not yet, jump into the university section and get into the course. And also share your feedback. If you've gone through the course, you've gone through the live sessions, you find that one is more helpful than the other, or both are equal, or you think we should include something, please go ahead and share that as well. We welcome all the feedback that we receive because it has made this course so much better week after week. So we thank you for that. Another minute here. I just got to make sure I'm sharing this in the right areas. And we will be going right into day 4. Pull this up here. And comments. All right. Welcome, Ron, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We got Frank from Tampa, Florida. Great to have you with us here. And it looks like we are all systems go, ready to move. Big shout out to Baja Web Solutions, watching from Lebanon, Connecticut. We're glad to have you. All right. That's set up and minimized and prepare for takeoff. Let's pull this up. Actually, we got to share the screen. One more second here. What do we have on this part? Okay. Grab our slides. Shut down. Bear with me a second here. We got some lag on my end here as I have all these windows open. All right. We are good to go on this. Move this part here. So what's really nice about day 4 is we've gone through the understanding the offer. We've gone through how to present the offer. We've gone through the setup. Right, setup is obviously very important. We've also gone through the sales and positioning in the marketplace. Also, another very important part of all of this is filling up the pipeline. And a big part of filling up the pipeline has everything to do with having the right conversations. And those conversations, where you have them is important, and then how often you have them is also important. And then as you're having them, and you're earning the time to present, to do the demo, people are getting signed up with you. Now it's the job to fulfill, making sure we are setting up their system, their AI executive assistant, to be fully operational, to get them the results that you've positioned, and to get them the results that they expect. And all of which starts with how you set everything up from a conversation as well as from a system, right? So we're going to go over today client onboarding. We're going to go over today the logging in as a client. And then we're going to go over actually setting up training and adjusting the AI assistant to the needs of the client, right? Because every client's just, has different demands, different needs, different assistance that's required. So we want to make sure that you know how to navigate that, right? So we'll get into that. If it's your first time tuning in, we've been running this challenge since Monday. Those that have been participating through the messages below typically do so by jumping into our Facebook page, facebook.com/high-level-reviews, and they'll comment on the live stream, and we'll engage back and forth that way. They'll also jump on LinkedIn onto that live, or to YouTube, and engage through that live. And from time to time, I'll look for, I'll ask you some questions. You'll respond back. We'll incorporate your feedback in there. And the number one goal is to really get your perspective, right? Because you'll be using this in your area. Maybe you're in a different country, you're in a different part of the state, or you have different experience. We definitely want to make sure that we're sharing that with the rest of the viewers here. And if it is your first time and you just found out about High Level today, we have a 30-day trial waiting for you. If you go to the website here, make your way over to gohighlevel.com/5DC offer. You can go ahead and set up your free 30-day trial, and that's going to get you into the system. And then once you get in the system, you'll be able to get access to the 5-day AI challenge course, be able to create your own white label high level operating system to add your logo and start going to market, right? The goal of this challenge here is to get your first paying customer, right? So you will need a trial account to participate. For our existing customers that are coming across this through one of our Facebook group feeds, it was shared, or you got an email about it, a new trial, a new account is not required. You could use your existing account now at whatever level it's at, and you can follow along the way. What I do want to make sure, though, is that you have access to the 5-day AI Challenge membership course. So to get that, you have to go to the university section on the agency view, and then you click on university, and then you'll see it'll say 5-day AI Challenge. Now we have another challenge called the MCTB, the Missed Call Text Back. That challenge is different than this one. So if you don't see the 5-day AI, go ahead and ask for assistance to get you access to that. So here are 3 overviews that you could expect to receive here by the end of this live session, right? You're going to have an understanding of how to set expectations, right? So you sign somebody up for your AI executive assistant program. You want to set the right expectations with the right roadmap, timeline, and really ascend from there, right? Obviously, learning the systematic way of onboarding is important. So we're going to walk through like how to set up the sub account, how to get in, what you need to send to them, what you need to share with them, and what are some potential roadblocks that your customers may receive that you need to be proactive about. And then third is setting the stage for ascension, right? And that has everything to do with you get your new client started up. The first 14 days are the most crucial days, and you're going step by step between day 1 through 3, 4 through 5, and then 6 through 7. And during those days, the relationship, the communications, the success, and the milestones that you're having with them with getting their program up, them seeing some results, them having questions and you responding to them, allows you to make that client stickier, right? Because we are on a monthly recurring revenue system, right? In order to keep that monthly recurring revenue in, you got to always give value, right? And value is given in 3 components. 1, the level of service you give, human to human. to the service that you're providing, the AI chat assistant, the actual service, right? What it's doing for their business and how it's doing it. And then third is the system, right? High level as a system, high level, your white label version as a system, right? What else are you giving them access to? What else are you exposing them to be curious about? Maybe you're setting up something in addition to the AI assistant because they want more or they want to understand more, right? So all of these three components really make a difference in, virtually handshaking somebody to virtually hugging them, and then eventually virtually, walking with them to wherever you're going to be going, which is obviously um, growth, success, and them referring more people over to you, right? So I want to go. I want to bring back from day three our go-to-market business plan, right? Because high level's filled with so many different amazing features. And because they're filled with so many different amazing features, sometimes it's very overwhelming for our customers or our new customers to digest this, right? And then for you, you might be overly excited as well. And now you want to present so many different strategies, so many different features, so many different opportunities. And I want to remind you that I want you to stick to your gateway offer. In this scenario of you getting your first paying customer, focus on your gateway offer. And the gateway offer is the AI chat offer, right? And I say that because if you give too much value or too much opportunity to somebody who may not be familiar with technology or really doesn't quite understand how this all works, it might be too good to be true. And before you even share the price or you even get into the program or how it works, they might run away from you, right? Just initially. So understanding the power of the AI chat offer, the work it does, the problems it solves, the solutions it provides, the benefits it gives to the business owner in their day to day is so much more important than saying, hey, look, here's my whole software. You'll love the 500 plus features we have. Let me show you our great introductory price, right? So if you understand why I'm going the gateway offer and why we emphasize that, please share below that you understand, right? And if you don't quite understand, go ahead and ask a question around it. I think it's important that we have this two-way conversation, whether it's me coming at you verbally and you responding back text, that we maintain this two-way conversation in this part of the training, because you're going to come across this, and because I've already been through it or I've seen others go through it, I can give you a little bit of a heads up of what to expect, right? So now we have the gateway offer going. We have our setup fee that was charged, our first month's monthly fee that was charged. Now we're, within the first 3 days, we're now introducing during our onboarding call our core offer, right? The primary pillars to our core offer. And let's say some of those include the Google My Business Profile service, the AI email marketing services. Let's say it includes social media manager, whatever it may include, right? We want to share how that complements the gateway offer. And if they're not ready to do that at that point, that's fine. They're at least aware of it, right? And the overall goal here is, as your customers are trusting you, learning from you, experiencing and seeing results, they want and naturally they want more. Like, what else could you do for my business? And this doesn't mean they have to be a big business making millions of dollars. This could be the dog groomer. This could be the dog trainer, the personal trainer, the small coffee shop, the restaurant, right? This could be the chiropractor, physical therapist. This could be the retail store on Main Street, the clothing store, right? This could be the driving school. This could be the tree service, the electrician. All businesses can use the AI chat assistant because most of these businesses have 1 to 3 employees. Time is of the essence, and they're not able to commit all their time to their internet presence, their virtual presence, their chatting, their texting. So we're going to help streamline that. And as we start to do that, the expansion offer becomes more of a reality, because then they say, hey, look, do you offer additional services like, let's say, for example, like text message marketing? Do you offer text message marketing? Do you offer reputation management? I need more reviews. I got this company, they're calling me, they're telling me that they help with reviews. Can you help me with reviews? I got this company and they're calling me and telling me that they help with booking calendars or calendar appointments. Could you help me with that? I keep getting calls from this company and they're offering me a way to create additional landing pages and funnels. Could you help me with that? And now we take this 197 a month recurring offer and it becomes now 497, 1397, 2500, 5000, right? And it doesn't mean that you're going to charge a big high ticket for one service. It's a cumulative approach with the services. Maybe they're bringing on 5 different services, and those 5 different services range from $200 to $300 a month, right? And now you've built up that average order. And I share all of this because whether you do that fast or it's slow, you have to fulfill on it all, and fulfillment is important, right? And for some reason, whether you don't offer that service anymore or you're not interested in offering it, or your customer is no longer in need of it for whatever reason, if they downgrade their package with you, you're still going to maintain your core offering. You're still going to maintain the initial offer, the AI chat assistant, because it's going to do such a great job based on how you set it up and how it's working, that maybe they cancel out the social media management because they keep it in-house, or they cancel the reputation management because they don't need any more reviews. Like, these scenarios happen all the time, right? You still have the AI chat assistant, right? So if you understand that whole concept and it's becoming a little bit more clear, go ahead and throw in the chat that you understand it. And if you have questions, please share those questions as well. And I promise you that we'll touch on those before the end of our training here. So I want to go over something that's so important when you're speaking to new customers that you're bringing onto the platform, right? And it's the order of how you show high level, right? There are some amazing community members within high level, power users within high level, just overall active customers in high level that all in some way, shape, or form share their high level in this manner. They'll start with pipelines, then they'll go into forms and surveys, then they'll go into calendars, then they'll go into funnels, and lastly, into workflows. And it really is designed to hit all the components of a business, right? So for example, pipelines is going to give you the organization of a sales flow, right? Customers coming in, appointments had, services shared, right? You want to see where they're at on that customer journey. Forms and surveys, the best way to collect information, right? Whether it's a form collecting a name, phone number, email, whether it's a survey asking for feedback, right? Or whether it's a form asking for an onboarding contact information or questionnaire, or a survey asking if if they would like to see additional services or share their experience at a location, right? And all of these are for all businesses, right? All businesses could use this as long as the business owner and you have a conversation of what's important to their business and the creativity of how you want their customers' experience to be, right? How do they want their customers to feel? How do you want their customers to have the access to them? And that's a conversation you need to have with the business owner, right? Next is calendars, right? And calendars work in many different ways. Here's for an example. Calendars can work with the personal training staff, right? Whether it's booking PT sessions, booking assessments, to work with counselors, right? Booking introductory calls, booking follow-up calls, could work with chiropractor, booking adjustments, booking new patient intakes, right? Could work with a restaurant, right? Maybe booking catering orders or following up on a catering interest call request, right? You're interested in hosting an event, you want someone to call you back to discuss catering. The calendar could work great. Now, in many different ways, there are pros and cons to using other services outside of what, let's say, a niche service provider might offer. Like, for example, like OpenTable, right? They're a great service that restaurants use. Well, maybe a catering company may not want to use OpenTable because they're not looking to fill seats or reservations. They're just looking for a streamlined way to organize interest and then make sure that they're on time to share and answer those questions of those people that are interested. So there are many different creative ways to use these types of services. The next is funnels. You know, not everybody knows what a funnel is. Not everybody believes they have a need for a funnel. But essentially, it's important for you to know that a funnel is designed to have multi-steps, right? So, you visit a funnel's main page or a main page, and maybe a pop-up shows up, and that pop-up has some sort of a compelling message, and you skip that pop-up, and then you go to the main page. And then on that main page, there's some information. Then there's an offer of maybe an ebook or a free giveaway, right? And that offer catches your eye. The pop-up didn't, but the offer does, right? And that offer then says, hey, put your name, your first name, and your email, or your first name and your phone number, and you plug it in. That caught step one of the funnel, right? And then that brings you to step two, right? So it's an organized process. And this is why funnels are important, because if you're selling books, if you're attempting to get people set up for an event or a release of a product, right? Maybe there's a timed release where we're doing like a pre-sale, and we want to capture some information initially, and then we want to give people a chance in step two to pre-sign up, right? So here's the information. They fill in their information in step one, and then step two of the funnel is, hey, get a head start. Buy now, save later. Buy now, get started later. Buy now, save now. Plug in your information, and here's an option of a discount. And then they click the discount. They say, yeah, I want that. And then after that, there's step three. And maybe step three is an upgrade, a bonus, right? So they complete step two, and step three says, hey, we would love to offer you this one-time offer of bringing a friend or buying a ticket for someone else or giving you additional services at a discounted rate. Go ahead and upgrade now, right? So that power of the funnels is so, so important. And I wanted to go in depth on this because some people will automatically assume that funnels is just a website. It's not just a website. There's actually technology behind the funnel, and there's a process and a whole strategy around it that many businesses are successful because of that. So real powerful. Usually there are independent softwares and services that are out there that charge a premium just for that feature. You have that included as part of turning it on and off in your white label. Okay. And last is workflows. Workflows are so, so, so unique in many ways within the software as a service industry, the way that High Level does it. We give you full control of creativity, of strategy, of implementation with our workflows. And what's really nice about it is that workflows are preset actions that take place when something happens that triggers that action to then get into gear, right? So think of it like this, right? Let's say I have a form, right? Forms, and I fill in the information for a raffle, right? Forms for a raffle. Fill out the form, and after I fill out the form, something behind the scenes happens where the form is the trigger, and the form submits it into the system, and then I get a text message, hey, congratulations on signing up for the raffle. We did not pull a winner yet, but here's what you could do now to increase your chances. So I get this text message, and then, okay, thanks. Not right now. So I ignore the text message, and then about 38 minutes later, I get an email. Automatically, email says, hey, we noticed that you didn't take advantage of clicking on the link for your chances to win extra. We wanted to give you one more chance before we did our drawing in 15 minutes. Here's the link. Good luck. So now I'm like, okay, I didn't know. Interesting. Let me click the link. So now that workflow welcomed me to the raffle, offered me an option to take another experience. I declined the option by ignoring it. It knew that I ignored it. It sent me an email calling me out for ignoring it, just in case I didn't know. Gave me an option to re-enter in for the new experience. And it told me that we're going to pull the drawing in 15 minutes. So then I clicked the link, and because I clicked the link, it says, congratulations. You've taken advantage of increasing your chances. Here's how you do it. And then I'm like, all right, cool, great. And then 3 minutes before the raffle, I then get a text message. Hey, we're about to pull the raffle. Visit this link. Hey, we're about to pull the raffle. If you purchase this package that we have, you get 5 extra entries and a 15-day money-back guarantee if you don't like it. I'm like, all right, that's crazy. All right, I want to sign up anyway. So I'll sign up now. I'll get 5 entries. And then the raffle's in 3 minutes. So that's cool, perfect timing. So I want to just stop in this example there, but the workflows, everything that I've described and shared happens automatically because you set it up to do so. You set it up to do these steps automatically. If they click, this is what happens. If they don't, this is what happens. This is the time that it goes out. This is a few minutes thereafter, or days after, or months after. You're creating this organized schedule that the system starts to activate on its own. Powerful, right? Let me know what you think about that. Do you find yourself using pipelines? Do you find yourself using forms or surveys? Do you find yourself maybe exploring calendars because your business or the type of businesses you serve are calendar-based? Did you know what funnels were before? Were you familiar with why or how they worked, and now you're more interested? Or how about workflows? Was that something that really caught your attention and you're like, man, if I could pre-schedule these tasks that are pretty much all money-making style activities where I could remind people, push people to an area, have them make a purchase, if this, if not, all for me without doing it manually? Absolutely. Let me know in the chat. Let me know what your opinion is, what you think of it. I'm going to run over here really quick to pull up my Facebook feed. And then we are going to continue on here right away. Pull this up. See what we got in the chat. Here. All right. So we got here. All right. I'm sticking to gateway offer helps them stay focused. Okay. So here's some great feedback from Drew. Drew Griffin. Sticking to a gateway offer helps them stay focused on that offer. They will get overwhelmed if you nerd out and let them know all the services. I 100% agree. Couldn't say it any better. Mike Belismo with some feedback here. Besides programming the chatbot to answer your questions, I'm still not confident on its other administrative assistant type of capabilities. Hopefully we can get a little bit more of that functionality today. Absolutely. We definitely will, right? As we go down, question, do you know where we might get to see Facebook ads being made from high level, and will LinkedIn ads also be added? We have some great things in the making. I don't have all the information, or I would share it, but we do have a beta going on that covers a good part of what you're asking. And it's an exciting time. Looks like Jordan beat me to the answer already. Awesome. Okay, great. So let's get into, let's do this. I'm going to move on to the next real quick, and then I'm going to do a little demo for you all on how I would present the pipelines, forms, and surveys to a customer, right? So we'll go that route right after, right? So with onboarding customers, the experience is what I want you to really hone in on. The experience. I want you to think about you being a potential customer or being a customer. What has your experience been like, right? What has your experience been like at high level where you sign up for some sort of trial, or you learn about us on social media, you join the group, you see the activity in the group, maybe you opt in for some of our classes, our workshops, you're getting notifications, then you sign up for this challenge, you join the group, you see how that goes, you see the live sessions, like the whole experience. You need to put yourself in the shoes of your customer. And it's typically by going through experiences of your own, right? So what I like to do a lot is I like to sign up for information, for lead magnets, because I want to see what type of experience do they then give after I sign up. Am I getting text messages? Am I getting emails? Am I getting retargeted, right? And you don't need to go that in depth. You just need to be aware of what the marketplace is doing to interact and engage with customers. So bringing this back to, your experience and giving it to your customers, you want to make sure you're onboarding your clients within 72 hours. So from exchanging money, you want to onboard within 72 hours. Um, and you want to make sure that whether it's in person or virtually, that your client is sharing the screen or your client is in control of the mouse, right? Because mentally, as they are driving, they are able to become familiar and develop that muscle memory and that visualization of where everything is at, right? Sounds super, complicated or theoretical, but right, like think about how you learn, right? Do you learn by hearing it multiple times? Are you more of a write, listen, and do learner, or do you learn more by practical, right? And you have to keep all those in mind with your customers. And your customers aren't going to really know how they learn or how they're going to absorb this. So you have to just safely assume that if I have them drive it, they'll experience what I've experienced and they'll be interested in experiencing more of it, right? And then the next thing is to bookmark the login page, right? So if you set up your high level with a white label, meaning the domain, let's say, for example, your high level company name is AI Fit, right? So your domain would be app.aifit.com, right? So that's your login page. And the best thing to do with that is to drag the login page link down to the folder. So that way they have one area and they know where that area is to log in to the AI Fit login page. And it's important because if they don't know how to log in on their computer, they're not going to use it on their computer. Now, the great news is that we have a mobile app, right? And the mobile app offers a gray label approach. So if you go into your mobile app store and you type in the App Store or the Google Play Store, you type in Lead Connector. Lead Connector will give you the gray label mobile app. It's our universal app for those that have not purchased the full white label app. And that gives everyone a chance to experience the app and not know that high level is being used, right? And there are some opinions around, right? Do I share that I use high level? Do I not share? It's up to you, right? If you decide not to share high level, that's completely fine. But be prepared that someone that you are working with may know someone else or have someone else involved that might say, oh, this looks like high level. Be prepared to at least take on that feedback or that statement and say, hey, look, absolutely, this is powered by the high level operating system, right? Just like Microsoft is an operating system, Apple's an operating system. But what we've set up for so and so is proprietary and it's custom to their business. And that's the best way to position it. And it's the truth because here's the thing, high level out of the box is a bunch of puzzle pieces that you have to put together, right? This doesn't come with batteries included. It doesn't come with all set together for you plug and play. This is out of the box. You got to customize it and create it, right? Think about what you did in your step two. There was customizing and creating. And you'll do the same for your customers in different ways. So be confident. If somebody says to you, oh, this is high level, there you could get this cheaper, or you could just go directly to high level. Say, look, absolutely. Like there's nothing to hide about it. But here's what we're doing a lot different on top of high level for you. That's why we wanted to position our service the way we are, because we are actually using high level to customize this experience for your business, like we do with others in the field, right? So if you understand that concept, if you understand that strategy, if you understand really, what I'm trying to share with you as a potential objection that might come up during your onboarding, go ahead and let me know in the chat. And if you have another potential, objection around any of these items, around onboarding within 72 hours, around using the app or white label, gray label, or around bookmarking, um, throw them in as well. I want to make sure that before we leave today, that you have 100% confidence of at least where to find the answers or how to position a great response, right? So here are a few things you need to bookmark. First and foremost, here are some housekeeping items that I've learned from our superhuman support team behind the scenes. One If you have a browser, multiple browsers in your computer, you want to make sure that you're loading high level up on the Google browser. We optimize first on the Google browser, right? It's a popular browser, and most of our customers and their customers use the Google browser. So you want to make sure that that is set up. If your customer doesn't have the Google browser installed, just walk them through it. Well, do the installation with them and let them know the importance of it, right? Now you get that Google browser set up. Here's something you need to be very, very aware of. And we don't have control over this. And that is Chrome extensions. The Chrome extensions are very heavy on different use cases and needs and setup, right? And the Chrome extensions become heavyweight to the browser and to the compatibility of high level. So if you have a customer that has a whole bunch of Chrome extensions, or these Chrome extensions that are not really built by well-established big companies, they're more of like widgets. They're more of just like quick hacks or easy, simple off-market type of extensions. You're going to run into some delays. You're going to run into some errors. You're going to run into some frustrations because those extensions, because they're not set up certain ways, or maybe completely set up in a way that it plays nice with other web-based apps, it might cause delay, it might cause freezing, it might cause just a feature not working. So when troubleshooting, disable the Chrome extensions and then clear your browser, right? And then also try incognito mode, right? So those are some things to keep in mind when troubleshooting, right? And as you can see here, I've included a folder. You want to create an AI executive assistant folder or an AI something. Just you got to include AI in there so that way they know it's your company, they know it's your offer, your feature, and they click on it. Because again, it's going to take some repetition. And then you also want to put it on the desktop. So hit it in the browser, bookmarks, on the toolbar, and then on the desktop. That way there's no chance that they forget or don't know where to go, right? And you want to, in that folder, you want to add the app.gohighlevel.com. I'm sorry, the app. So it would be app.gohighlevel.com if you didn't white label it. It would be app.aifit if you white labeled it. You want to drag that link into the folder so it shows up there. And then we have a help.leadconnector.com instruction manual. I call it instruction manual, but help guide that just like help.gohighlevel.com, help.leadconnector.com gives everything that's in that Go High Level support for your customers gray labeled. So they have the Lead Connector app and then they have the Lead Connector support. Both work wonders, right? Because as you get to understand your customers, some may be more analytical, hands-on, while some may not be, but their staff is. Give everybody what they need to use the system on their own and be there by their side to help them optimize and get the best version of it, of the experience, right? So, to download the app, you want to walk them through it. You want to make sure they actually download it. Sometimes somebody says, I'm going to download it or I'll get to it. And they don't, because here's a few things. They forgot their login password to the App Store. It's worth waiting and helping them reset it, because if they don't do it with you, they're not going to do it ever. It's just procrastination kicks in, right? And then also, it's important for you to have them download it and you see it, because sometimes the login could be a problem. And what do I mean by that? If someone's not tech savvy enough, the two-factor authentication may not be something they want to do, or they think it's like an error, right? And then they don't complete that and go into the app. So you want to just make sure they get through the two-factor authentication, that they have the app, and then you want to walk them through the app, right? So going through the bottom toolbar, the hamburger on the top left, making sure they understand how to navigate through that, because as they're on the run with their phone, with their business, everyone keeps their phone in the side pocket or the back pocket, next to their water, right? In the cup holder, right? You want to make sure that they have their business on their phone. And that's how you have to describe it. Look, what's really nice about this is you'll have your business on your phone while you're on the go. And if you're behind the computer on an admin day, or you're running things, or your staff is behind the computer most of the time, you have the business on the phone, they have the business at their desktop. right? And all of that makes a difference. All of that makes a difference for you and for your customers. So if you have any questions around that, throw it in the chat. Throw it in the chat. And then it looks like Jordan beat me to this here, but this is a great question that Rosie had. The mobile app is available in the 497 plan. So we have the gray label app and the white label app. The app that I'm referring to right now is the gray label. That's the lead connector app. That's available on all plans. That's available on all plans. The white label app is a monster. It's great, right? And there is a monthly fee associated with it, but it gives you all the customization. It launches it on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. The look and feel, the things you could embed in it and incorporate in it. We have a whole department dedicated to this white label app, and we have a very large customer base that takes on the white label app because they really recustomize all of high level that you wouldn't even know. You would not even know that it's high level. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation with somebody at a conference, and they said, you would never know that this company so-and-so is on high level. I'm like, no way. I mean, how is that? Right? Because they redesigned everything and they've won tons of awards because of it. Powerful, right? Like, imagine winning awards using Microsoft or Apple as your operating system. And because they have features and developer options, right, you're able to create a product on top of those well-known operating systems and receive a reward. And you don't have Microsoft or Apple saying, hey, that's because of us, or hey, that's our product actually. No, they give you rights to build upon it. And we do the same. So I want you to look at high level as the operating system that you build on top of. If you have the knowledge, experience, appetite, or investment capital to like customize it, we see it all the time. And people are running multi seven-figure, if not more, businesses powered by high level. And it's an honor for us. And that's why we put these courses out. That's why we go in depth, because somebody started somewhere to get where they're at now. And we want you to have all the opportunity to do so as well, right? So if you find that exciting or you're interested in that, throw it down in the chat. Any questions that might come with it, let me know. And we'll jump right into it, right? So I'm going to be spending some time in the system, right? I'm going to be spending some time in the system, but I want to walk you through just the information first. So when I go through the system with you, on my other screen, I'll have this up, but I'll walk you through it. And I think it's important as I'm meeting, new audience members, new users, existing customers that join the challenge that didn't even know existed. I get some great feedback, and it's a mix of, could you explain everything kind of first, then go into, technical mode? Because I'm more of a reader first, and I found that to be very great and helpful, and it's we've seen some great results from it. So I'm going to go that route, but I wanted to give you a little context why, right? Dwight Wykes, how do we access the white label mobile app? To answer your question, Dwight, that is within the setup section of high level. There'll be a tab around app or mobile app. There's the option to click to go through the inquiry process of a white label mobile app. So to answer your question, there's a process that we have a couple questions back and forth, understand your use case. We map out several calls associated with it. Then we start building it out with you for you. There's a fee that you have to pay. And then there's a monthly recurring fee you're responsible for. So Jordan can get you more information on that. Jordan's my colleague here. He's you obviously see his name here. He's helping me with the chat. He could put you in the right direction there. Javier, thank you. I'm a beginner on high level. Absolutely, Javier, man. Most people start just like that, right? I started like that. And many of our viewers who are maybe not in the chat right now or in the challenge, but are tuning in, they started the same way. And I think, to share some inspiration around that, in order to get somewhere, you got to at least have, an interest, right? And you had the interest and you got this far. And then to get somewhere further than where you're at now, you have to take action, right? So that's getting in the system, maybe taking the challenge, maybe playing around with it, maybe falling forward and getting frustrated a bit. And then to get further than where you're at now from where you started, you have to stay consistent. You got to stay on your game of, either it's reminding yourself, incorporating it into your day, really becoming a student of the craft, a student of the industry, a student of the software is where you start to see massive growth opportunity. Now, results will always vary, right? Nothing is ever guaranteed of doing it our way or a way similar to it. But here is what you have control over: the consistency, the interest, and taking the action. And if you can use our blueprint, our guidance, our trainings, our courses, right, our interactions to accelerate that, you're going to be in a great place. And we're excited to see you along that journey. So definitely, if we don't see you at an event, definitely share your progress when you see one of our team members here at High Level out and about. So let's get back to our sub account setup here. Like I mentioned before, the sub account is where your agency, like your business has one. Your business has one because you set up your website and everything into your sub account. And then your customer's business has one. And then the 5 customers you signed up will have their own sub account. Then the 50 customers you sign up will have a sub account like the 5 others. So now the 55 of your sub accounts have a sub account, right? Like they have access to their own account. And again, the sub account is, look at it as like your email, right? Maybe you have 3 emails. Maybe you have 5 emails. And they're all for different needs. Maybe one for the business, one for the personal, one for spam and notifications and signups. But you log into those emails for that specific purpose. That's how the sub account should be looked at. It's for your specific business, specific messaging for the business, and managing the business. You can't have two. It's not ideal to have 2 businesses in one sub account. I'm sure you can, right? You can by, sending text messages from one business to another, different names, but technically it's supposed to be one business in each sub account. And setting that up, we use the snapshot, right? This is going to start to all come together and make sense. The snapshot is what we've created based on industries, popular industries, or what you've purchased from somebody else, right? And snapshots are essentially a link that you require a high-level account that gives you preset settings and configurations and details that once you install it, they go into your account and you can start using them. And that could be custom funnels, custom websites, custom values, custom messaging, custom scripts, text messages, email cadences, right? All these different elements that are part of the snapshot. Now, when I go through this setup here, I'll use an example of where we already have a snapshot, right? Because we'll just go with what's available. But if there is a business that you're setting up that doesn't have a snapshot, you want to use a blank snapshot. Now, the only difference between a snapshot and a blank snapshot is what's on it. So the snapshot that you get has a bunch of preset configurations. Great. You may use or may not use any of them. The blank snapshot is the same as a regular sub account, just with no configuration. So you can still turn them on or create them as you go. You want to make sure you're filling in all your clients' information, right? Getting the right information. Don't assume their email. Don't assume the best phone number. Don't assume how they spell their name. Like, don't assume anything. Treat this like a legal document. Get all the information, all the proper, correct information. And I would almost go the route of saying, so-and-so, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so, what is the best direct way to contact you around your account? There's an emergency, an issue, concern, a threat. How do we contact you directly? And typically they'll give you their cell phone number. And Mr. or Mrs. Customer, can we use this cell phone number for the 2-factor authentication, right? Because what will happen is every time you log in, right, it'll ask you for a PIN and it'll send it to this text message. Yes, you could use it. Great, right? That's how you know they're giving you the right information. When it comes to adding employees, you want to confirm. Are there any employees you'd like to add now to have access to your account? And if so, what is their responsibilities that you'd like for them to have access to, right? And now you're going that flow, right? And we're going through those settings. And you're able to adjust those permissions, right? And then we'll get into how to turn on the conversation AI. Now, this is all in day 4 fulfillment that my colleague Kaplan Milgram Hills has already put all the time and effort, step by step, not missing one component for you to go through, whether it's at 1.0 speed or 2.0 speed. It's all there for you to replay and go step by step, whether it's using it on your phone and doing it on your computer, or doing it on one screen and doing it on another. So you have the flexibility. I'm just going over it as reinforcement, as well as giving you a live view, because if I share this multiple times with you, it'll just stick a little bit more stronger. And I think that's what we want for you, right? We want to help you really see it a second way, so you can say, okay, I didn't quite see it that way in the video or the training, but I see it how it is in this way. Now I see how the both styles come in, right? So that's important. And another question here, Javier asked, while we're on this topic, this is a relevant question. Do clients have to buy their own high-level accounts, or can it be managed by adding their biz into a sub-account? So, Javier, I don't know if this is your first day here, if you have access to everything. I just want to make sure that we get you access to the trainings, because that way you'll get a little bit more of a hands-on. But most importantly, I also want you to be aware that that's a great question, because sometimes people will think that if there's a couple different routes for this. So let me just backtrack. Depending on your experience, there are folks in our ecosystem that are affiliates. They're affiliates. Their whole business model is introducing their communities, their networks to high level, right? And in that process, they're doing everything that we've done from day 1 to now. But what they're doing different is they're saying, hey, use this link to sign up for high level directly on your own. And when they sign up for that link, it gets them access to an account that they get a percentage of, right? So the difference is this: they don't get the full revenue that they charge for access to high level. They get a percentage. And that's different than what this challenge is promoting, because this challenge is promoting sign up for high level for a trial, add a sub account to your account, and charge them directly $197 per month, and you get that $197 per month directly. So to answer your question, yes, you can have them sign up to high level if you're an affiliate. If you're not an affiliate, jump into the course, go through day 1 through day 4, and it'll bring more clarity on how you do it the agency AI model way that we're promoting. And that's where the money goes to you. You're servicing them directly. And this is where all this will be applicable. So great question. Welcome, Javier. And again, here's a prime example. You came from Billy Jean's group, right? And he could have said, hey, click this link and sign up to high level directly, or I can sign you up directly, right? And you could be under my account, right? So you're actually going the way that you might know of already through your customer experience. Hasn't come up yet, but this is a great point for me to make a note of. So thank you, right? And then one last question, because it's related to adjusting of permissions. Question from Rosie: can we give access only to chosen modules depending on the niche and their need? Absolutely. So in the user permissions, you could turn on and off what you want them to have access to. In the user permissions, you can do so. Hope that helps. Awesome. So as we continue on here, I want you to take a quick read here of what the initial intake experience should look like. Take a quick read here, and keep in mind you have what stage it is and about how many minutes you should be there for. Take a read at that. Right? And as we're looking at this, it's important to know that everything is created by design. right? So the introduction and overview are designed to obviously, reintroduce yourself to anyone new in the business or that's now part of the conversation. And also is important to realign with what the offer is. I mean, here's what happens sometimes. Someone says yes to you. They're doing some research. They're looking at other AI products or other assistant products, and they automatically assume that what they're getting for maybe a more affordable price is what they would have got if they would have went with another company for a higher price. And here's where just the buyer's confusion comes in. Isn't everything the same? Isn't AI just AI, right? What's the difference, right? And it's important that you understand your offer and you reiterate what the expectations are for that offer and what you're going to do for them, right? Because the what you don't want is someone to assume that this AI assistant's going to do their dishes and be their homework assistant for their kids, right? We want to make sure that they understand that this AI assistant is going to be living on their business website. It's designed to entice organic traffic that's coming in on their own, whether they're customers or not, to click a button on the bottom right, whether they're on a mobile device or a desktop or a tablet, because the button on the bottom is going to give them an option to say, hey, do you need some help while you're here? Or hey, do you have some questions? Or welcome back, how can I help you? And when they click that button, there's going to be a message that pops up with an enticing call to action to feel free to ask me a question. My name is so and so. How can I help? And that's when the conversation starts. And during that conversation, it's going to ask for their name and some contact information. So we're going to capture that. And then ultimately, what this AI assistant superpower is answering questions that these folks have, whether they're customers or not, answering the questions. And if they don't know the answer, giving them an alternative to speak to somebody, whether that's booking an appointment or giving them how to contact them. Right. So, I want you to know as the service provider that what your AI assistant is able to do is be trained on questions and answers that you give it. Training is important and updating it is important. It is able to capture contact information and put that in your database, in your CRM for your customer. It is able to book appointments and have a natural conversation. And you're able to adjust the speed and when it responds and how often it responds and when it stops responding. Right. And we'll walk through that briefly here. But that enough is clarity on what you should expect. Right. Nowhere did I say that it's going to create your website. Nowhere did I say it's going to call you. Nowhere did I say it's going to do anything else than what I said. How about that? Right. Let's keep it simple. I need you to understand that because if you don't understand it, your customer will never get the message direct. And you need to be the one to facilitate that delivery of what this does and why it's powerful. Right. And as you get better at it and you understand it more, you'll have better use cases. You'll have better examples. You'll have better ways of sharing this expectation list, whether it's an email, one-sheeter, or just verbally. Right. And then the next 10 minutes here is business needs and objectives, right? Understanding and rediscussing here. What are the needs of the AI assistant for the business? Like, what do they want it to do? What are the objectives? How are we going to, track its success? And then any pain points. What is the business dealing with now? Are we getting a lot of an influx of random messages late hours in the evening because most of our customers are in Australia and the time difference? Are we getting customers that are asking questions around hours of operation or processes or service offerings? Right? It's the same question over and over. Then we need to train the AI assistant to answer that question. Right? Because if it's being asked over and over and you're giving the same answer over and over, well, then we could streamline that. Let's streamline that process. Right? And as we evolve in that, you'll get better at it. Everything you see here, you'll get better at. Right? But I think it's so important for you to really hear it from someone who's done it before and then have a starting point and then evolve from it. Right? And then the target audience and use case, right? Identifying who their audience is, what it looks like, and who are potential customers that might come in. What are their potential questions they might have? And as you understand that, you're able to give those visitors an amazing experience on behalf of your customer. And that's what your customer's hoping, right? They're hoping that your expertise and your knowledge and your experience can fill in the gaps of getting this AI assistant up and running for them without reading pages and pages of help guides or figuring out what others are doing. They're leaning on you to be the expert, right? Customization and integration, right? You obviously knowing the right flow of what they're expecting really starts with the questions that you ask. You know, there's a saying, sometimes I've heard this from time to time, different ways, but something similar to don't ask how, ask who, right? Don't ask how you get there, ask who you talk to or who can help you, right? Right. And the way I want you to look at, questioning is, don't ask questions that are irrelevant to what you want or what they want, right? So asking questions around their branding, right, may not be the first set of questions you want to ask. You want to ask questions about their operations. You want to ask questions around, what does a typical day look like of people complaining? What does a typical day look like of new people coming in that have never heard of your product but have questions around it, right? What does a typical new customer ask frequently if they're just hearing about you? And this could be for several businesses. So, for example, off the top of my head, let's say it's a birthday venue, right? Kids' birthday venue. So maybe people will ask about the availability of when they could book a birthday party. Maybe they'll ask about if they could bring food in on their own, outside food. Maybe they'll ask if there's a fee for the games or what the packages are like. Can they schedule a tour? Right. So as you start to understand how this particular business works, maybe you could set up questions, answers to the questions around a booking link for them to come in to see the facility, a responses to bringing outside food in, when it's permitted, when it's not, allergies, all these types of questions. That should take you about 10 minutes. And, I've included here also is, collecting or confirming, collect and confirm if they have a frequently asked questions page or any information on their page that comes off like maybe potentially answering a question, just confirm that that information is still valid. I found that recently, that people will have websites that are outdated because they forgot their password, they don't no longer work with that company, or they're just not savvy enough. And then what happens is because of that, the information that's on their page is outdated, whether it's hours, phone number, frequently asked questions, address. You'd be surprised. Just make sure that everything that your potential customer's customer is going to go through, the information's up to date, right? Then the next thing is timeline and next steps, right? Establishing a timeline for post onboarding, right? So, my recommendation is that you're in contact with your customer at least once a week, at least for the first 6 weeks, right? There's different theories and strategies around it, but here's where you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong making a relationship. You can't go wrong learning more about their business. You can't go wrong being available to them, right? You can't go wrong learning as you go around their business, especially if it's your first customer, right? And, yes, you might get a little closer than normal. And yes, they may call you after hours or they may believe, that you guys are friends and not just business. But you have to set those boundaries. Those boundaries exist in everywhere, everything. So making sure you help them understand what the boundaries are, being clear on when to contact you, why to contact you, being clear on when you're going to expect them to have things done, when you're going to meet with them again, how frequent are you available or how frequent they have to be available is so important. And again, I don't want to overwhelm your mind on all these different what ifs or scenarios, but if you at least know it exists or it may come up, it becomes something that is second nature. And it becomes a muscle memory in your mind of, okay, I know at some point I'm going to have this set up. Let me take these notes and then I'll get to it here shortly, right? And it might be up by your third customer that you might see that all of this starts to kick in. And then last is 5 minutes, right? The last 5 minutes is a little Q&A closing. Remember here that your customers will always have questions. So you have to kindly, right? You have to kindly end the meeting at some point. You have to end the meeting at some point because Q&A can go on for another 40 minutes. So you have to use your experience and your knowledge and say, hey, look, sounds like you got some questions around the setup. Here's what I will do for you. Here's what I'll do for you. Let me set everything up on my end. Let me optimize it. I'll take some notes along the way of what I did, and I'll be sure to send it to you so that way you can have an understanding of what I did and how I did it. As a matter of fact, I'll do one better for you. I'll record while I'm doing it so you have an understanding. And then you want to be able to, send a quick email after that meeting, summarizing some key points, confirming the dates and times you're going to meet with them again, confirming your hours of operation for service, confirming the best way to contact you, and confirming that they'll either be working with you or a team member on your team. But it's so important to have clear communication. And it starts with what you know and what you're exposed to. And I'm hoping that this part of what we just went over gives you the leg up and the forecast of, I know what I need to do eventually, but let me get my first client first. Right. And that's fair. That's fair. Right. And what's important here, and I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here, right? Like at high level, we have thousands of customers, thousands. We have hundreds of support agents, superhumans, people that are experts. We have AI chat support. We have help.gohighlevel.com support. We have Zoom support, right? We have YouTube videos, instructions. You have to know where your resources are at because here's what you won't have time to do. You won't have time to get on a support call for every situation you have. So being resourceful is key. And the more resourceful you are is how you could then pass that on to your customers. Because what you're experiencing, they're going to eventually experience, right? So I want to give you a couple of areas that are important, right? Making sure you go to help.gohighlevel.com. There's a search bar. Type in your question or type in the feature and let it spit out the results and be curious. Carve out some time to do that, especially as you're learning this. Some people go to certification courses, right, to become, to be part of a trade, right? They're committing, either it's to morning school, day school, or night school to become knowledgeable on that. I want you to look at this as an extension of that, right? To commit the hour, whether it's in the evening, morning, or middle of the day, commit to learning what that help.go high level has available for you so you know how to leverage it when you need to immediately. So important, right? Look at it as school for yourself, right? And as you do that, you become really good at the visual recognition. If I could visualize it and oh, I saw that before. I think I need to do this. Now you have a good starting point. But if you've never seen it, you never heard it, you never processed the scenario, or the vocabulary is not, you don't recognize the vocabulary, like workflow, right? You don't recognize the word workflow, you're not going to know what it does or where to go with it. But after speaking with you about workflow, whether it was day 2, day 3, now, you know that workflow is a system of automated actions that make the customer get things done without them physically doing it every time, whether it's text messages, emails, collecting information, sharing information. So now you go to the help.gohighlevel.com, you type in workflows, and that'll spit out a bunch of information that you can become more aware with workflows, right? So these resource links are really resourceful. They're just not here for placeholders. We update these very frequently because things change in our system and feedback comes in. We need to update it. So take advantage of that. Our AI chat installation configuration walkthrough, that is in day 2, right? For yourself, you'll do that same system for your customers. I will walk you through that here. I will walk you through it here, right? But we've purposely made this experience, this UI, user interface, UX, user experience, very, very eye friendly, very, very brain friendly, very, very finger hand friendly. And what do I mean by that? We can add a lot of complexity in the setup of any of our features, right? It just takes a little bit of extra code, color, and additional screens and buttons. We've purposely, within the high-level operating system, we've purposely made it easy to do. Some things require no more than 3 clicks, right? Some things are very, very easy to set up. Where it becomes complicated is when you want to connect them to other things, or you start to do custom approaches. You start to bring to life your custom strategy, right? Of course, that's going to take more clicks, more time. But I say that to say this, that you should have no problem doing the basic setup that we provide to you. It should take you no more than maybe a half hour if you're new to it, right? Maybe it takes you an hour, but this should not take you 2, 3 hours. Absolutely not. If it's taking you more than 45 minutes to an hour, then you need to get some help to get familiar with the system, to maybe get someone to show you briefly the areas, because you could easily click one area and go to another and then get into the weeds of it. So I want to make sure that you're aware this setup should take you 15 minutes, right? It's pretty quick. To 45 minutes, an hour max if you're taking your time and you're kind of, balancing around, but not 2 hours, 3 hours. Absolutely not. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's when you need to get some professional help to guide you. Right. And then within the system, right, because collecting payments is important. And I went through this. I went through this on day 3. Part of the sales function was, how do we collect payments? How do we leverage the invoice? How do we leverage, PayPal and Stripe, and creating products, and one-time invoice versus recurring invoice and SaaS mode. That's in day 3 video, right? You could click the link. There's a replay link below. You can watch that video, right? But it's so important for you to be aware that you don't need another software to collect payments. You don't need to collect cash or checks to collect payments. You can do everything through what we have here integration-wise. And it's designed to talk and work and be consolidated. So you can go into the app or to the web and see, okay, this person paid, their payment is the 15th of every month or the 5th of every month. Right? This person didn't pay their bill, we'll suspend their account. Right? So there's the visibility is key. Right? And making sure that you're absolutely creating. So again, this is just big picture thinking here. This is big picture thinking. I want you to imagine that you're doing this AI offer, let's say 6 months, and it's going great. Right? Let's just say this scenario, you're doing this for 6 months, it's going great. Started out with 1 customer, slow start, then you got 5, now you got 20, now you're up to 50 customers. And it's, you're getting really good at it, explaining it. You're getting tons of referrals, right? There's going to come a time that you're going to get an increase of new customers, but also new questions, new feedback, new engagements. And you'll learn here very quickly that systemizing your onboarding and systemizing your ongoing relationship is so important, right? It's like why at High Level we have membership courses like this, playbooks, why we have our YouTube channel, why we have our live streams, why we have our workshops. We have different outlets of giving you consistent guidance, best practices, training of all kinds. If your efforts are growing quickly, you need to create a version 1 or an entry-level plan on how you stay in communication with your clients, right? And here are some ways. One is leveraging Loom, right? Loom, LOOM.com, is a recording software that we use internally here, that we record a video and we send it out, and that's how we communicate to reduce meetings. Another area, which is within High Level, is our continuing ed, right? Our membership course area. It's what you're experiencing now in High Level. You go to the university tab, and we have a membership course where there's videos. You may want to do that at some point, right? And there's our communities, right? Our communities is where, we have Facebook groups, we have other, apps that are out there with communities, right? People chat back and forth in groups. Within high level, we have a community feature that you can house your customers in, and your customers can engage with each other, engage with you in a community forum, like in a message board forum. Back in the day, it's called message boards, right? But like think of it like Facebook groups, but in high level, right? You have that opportunity. Um, and we have a whole training and guidance on that, but maybe you have to start doing that, right? But let's say we're not at that level for content curation around training strategy. Let's just say we're at the beginner level and we just want to keep our customers in the loop, right? So we want to make sure that we're updating our conversation AI bot frequently with new questions and answers. First thing. Second is we want to make sure that we're creating some informative emails, some informative messaging that we could put on our website as well as send to an email. And you'll end up leveraging workflows and other features as your customers come on board or as your customers mature in age with you. Maybe they stay 1 month, they're now with us 3 months, they're with us 6 months, they're with us a year, right? Each, let's say every quarter of a customer's journey with you, there are new learnings, new demands, and new expectations. So you want to bucket those by having good communication, right? Any questions on that? Throw them in the chat. If you have any questions on that, throw them in the chat. And if you're just jumping in, we've been at it. We've been at it strong. Been at it for about an hour and 15 minutes. I'm on my third or fourth sip here. And if you're just joining us, maybe you found out about this through a YouTube link, one of the live streams, maybe somebody that's in the challenge forwarded to you. But most importantly, in order to take advantage of this, you got to have a free trial account. So sign up for the free trial, experience what everyone else is experiencing, right? And maybe you're a customer already, right? You haven't been using the software, or you've been using it, but not the way we're sharing how to use it. You can jump right into our membership training, the 5-day AI challenge. If you don't have access to it in your university, definitely raise your hand and let us know. We'll get you access. But you don't need a trial account for this. We just need to show you how to use the product. And we're on day 4. So you got some catching up to do. Or you could join us for the next challenge, not this week, but the following week. We'll be having it, right? So you have that choice, or you can watch the replays, right? But back to our regular scheduled programming here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a moment. And I'm going to open up my high-level account so we can get into some of these items that I shared with you that I promised that I was going to walk you through. Give me a second here. Pull this up. Here. Pull this to the side here. Let me get my okay. So first thing that I want to go through is how to show high level, right? That was the first slide that we went over, order of how to show high level. So we're going to go through that, right? So in order to show this, right, we're going to go through our sub account, our agency sub account. And we're gonna walk through here. So first thing is pipelines, right? So pipelines is located under the opportunities tab. Located under the opportunities tab, right? And what's really nice about pipelines is that you can map out your prospect or your customer journey, whether it's new sales experience or support experience. And to do so is you go to the opportunity tab. Sorry, let's rewind here. You go to the 3 dots, right? And you get familiar with the settings here. What does everything kind of do here? So we got filters, we got some settings, we got the opportunity, so we can create an opportunity, right? So we know what these buttons do. Sort by, right? So we have that part, right? And this one here is the onboarding pipeline, which is part of your snapshot. And then we have the sales pipeline, which is part of your snapshot, right? But what if we want to add our own pipeline? What if we want to add our own pipeline? Click on pipelines. Click on create new pipeline. And let's say this is a new vehicle service, right? Let's say you're working with a car dealership and this is for new vehicle service. Sale. Let's say the next thing here will be 30-day checkpoint phone call. Let's say this is a 90-day checkpoint survey, 180-day checkpoint. Referral, right? And what this now does is it creates this pipeline, right, here, and it becomes an option under the Opportunities tab for new vehicle service, right? So I can't create it from this tab. I have to go to Pipelines, I have to edit it, or I have to create a new one, right? So that's available. And when doing so, I'm now able to move them from stage to stage. I can create a workflow that if something happens, it'll move automatically. I can create a workflow that if something happens, and because that happens, they get an email or text when it's moved, it'll happen automatically, right? So here's an example. John, sales call booked. He attended the appointment, moved over. Sales call attended, said yes, moved over. Became a customer, moved over. As I hover, I can view the conversation. I can add tags. I can add notes. I can add tasks. And I can add an appointment. So everything here is really designed, and I could assign to somebody, designed to be very efficient, very compact, all access without going from screen to screen all around. Pretty cool? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Great. All right. So because we mentioned pipelines, again, I just want to remind you, it's under the opportunities. And really the purpose of the pipeline is to create the pipeline, but the function is under the opportunities section. That's where you do all the moving and editing and managing, right? Next is forms and surveys. Okay. It's not labeled here, but it's under the sites section. It's under the sites section, right? When you go to the sites section, you go to forms, you have the builder, you have the analyze of what's happening, and then you have the actual submissions, right? So we go to the builder. This allows us to build a form. You can add a new form custom, or you can use a template. The analyze will show you the results. And the submissions will give you the results for all forms. So let's say you have 5 forms. This will give you the results for all forms here. And you could adjust the dates, so on and so forth, right? This is under the Sites tab, Forms. In the same area is Surveys. Same concept. You have the builder, you have the analyze, and you have the submissions, all available for you, right? Next is calendars. On the left-hand side, you click calendars. You're able to navigate the calendars, right? See your schedule. You're able to see the appointments you have for today, right? You're able to disposition them, view details, reschedule them, have control over those appointments, change the status of those appointments. And then you're able to go to the settings of those appointments. Whether you want to create a new calendar or adjust the settings. Maybe you want to go and adjust the hours. You want to adjust the image. You want to adjust the wording, the color, the UX, the availability, accepting payments, the forms, the consent, any notifications, who receives it, what happens after they book it, right? All available here. All in the calendar section. Okay. Next is funnels. That's also in the sites section, right? So we'll go to the sites section. We'll click funnels. Go to funnels. You can add a new funnel or edit one or create one from scratch. Availability here. If you have a funnel from another service, you can transfer that funnel in without recreating it all from scratch. Right? So that's available. And we have funnels based on categories, industries, types, tags. So there's a lot of resources here. And here's what I want you to keep in mind. Because it's already built doesn't mean that you're cheating in any way. Because it's already built, you're just able to apply your time, experience, and resources to perfect it. You're able to customize it. Again, not everything out of the box is going to be exactly what your customer wants. So there'll have to be some heavy lifting that you may have to do. But if you can have a foundation, why not? Why not? Right? And last is workflows. To get to workflows, you're going to go to Automation tab. Go to the Automation tab. This is where your workflows live that are active, that are inactive, that are just created. If you've deleted it, this is where they are. Right? Able to go to Create Workflow. Select the recipe as a pre-created workflow. Start from scratch to start from scratch. So we go to select the recipe. We can pick some popular ways that have been already created. And as we do so, you can activate it. And then there's some settings. Right? And all of that is here. And this is where the customization, the assembly line approach starts. Right? If this, then that. If no, then this. If yes, then this. Here's the big picture. I want this to be completed. How do we get this? Let's reverse engineer it. What needs to be sent out? We need to send a text. Okay, great. Typically for a customer, how long do we wait? We wait about a day. Okay, we'll send out an email. Great. What should the email include? What do we need from them? Plug that in the email. So you have to do some critical thinking around your customer journey, your customer's journey. What's the end result that they want? How fast do they want it? And what are some alternatives of delivering that experience? And then when do we stop, right? Because we got to stop at some point. We don't want to annoy the customer, right? So that goes over how to walk through this. I recommend that you replay this at some point. You recreate your version of it, because walking a customer through this or a potential customer through this is so powerful, because it gives them a nice bird's eye view of what's potentially available. Gets their creative thinking going, gets their strategy going. And I believe that's a big part. It's a big part of growing a business is strategy, planning, and implementation. Right? So as we move on here, I want to share with you here the sub account, right? Because now creating a sub account. So again, I don't want to go too in depth on this because we have training already set up for this. My colleague Kaplan spent a lot of time in detail around step by step how to do this. So I'm giving you just an overview so that way you could use this to know where to go in depth more, right? But I want you to keep in mind that if you created your sub account and set up your account, it's the same, if not similar steps to what you'll be doing for your customers. And here's what I mean by that. If you switch to agency view, right? And switching to agency view, you want to go to create a sub account. This is where the preset recipes are. And in those preset recipes, you're able to, for a home service, see what's included. There's a video, which is a great knowledge experience. Your setup, your quick wins, level up, what's included, what does it do, how to set that up, how to check it's working, right? All of this is available here. Very extensive, very detailed, at your fingertips, right? So I want you to keep in mind that, these recipes are powerful because these are existing customer industries that maybe you're serving or maybe are related. So like for example, let's say for example, we have a personal trainer. This says gym, but personal trainer and gym have similar functionality. You can go use it here. Let's say you have a health coach. Well, we got a career coach. Similar functionality. We can go to this one. Let's say this is a chiropractor, but you really have a physical therapist. Similar commonalities, processes. You can use the chiropractor as an inspiration, right? Auto dealership, used car dealership, right? New car, used car. Same concept, you can use it. Accountant, maybe they're a bookkeeper, vice versa. Same concept, right? You just may have, use it as inspiration. Use it as inspiration, right? And within that sub account, I also want to highlight that once you create the sub account, you'll be able to go to the settings tab for that sub account. You'll be able to go to the My Staff for that customer sub account. And you'll be able to create employees for that sub account. And then you'll be able to, when you create those employees for that sub account, you'll be able to adjust their signature, their calendar, their contact information. But the user permissions gives you access to turn on and off what they have access to. And then the user roles allow you to create them as an admin or a user. So this is where you have access to adjust, right? Mario asked the question here, what's the difference between SaaS and regular account? Right, so to answer your question there, if you're on the 97 plan or the 297 plan, you would create regular accounts, right? And regular accounts is the process of creating a sub account and you manually turning everything on, creating everything, right? But if you are on our 497 plan, which is SaaS, you can create a process within SaaS that will create everything for you. So look at it like this. It's 11 o'clock at night. Someone wants to sign up and you don't have a process in place to automate that. You have to meet with them. You have to get them up and running manually. You have to book a time and then you go through that process. Or maybe you have a process in place where they pay a product fee or a subscription fee, but then they have to wait until you do the onboarding call. What SaaS Configurator does is it allows you to create the products with what they include, adjust any particular settings, adjust the monthly and annually. It'll give you a sales link. And then when that package is purchased, it'll enroll the customer, it'll activate the customer and give the customer immediate access to the platform. Just like if you were to sign up right now for some sort of widget or program, let's say you sign up for ChatGPT, plug in your information, you pay, you got access to ChatGPT right away. Maybe you want to sign up for YouTube TV, right? Or any other TV service, right? You sign up, put your information, you got access to the TV right away. Netflix right away. So it's immediate activation once you pay online, and it creates a process where it doesn't require you to manually turn things on and set it up. So I hope that helps, Mario. Great question. Great question. Right. Mark, your question was, can you go over the mobile app too? Mark, if you don't mind, if you can download the mobile app on your end, whether it's the Lead Connector or the high level one, whichever you prefer. If you can do that and then just click around a little bit, it's very easy. But if you have any questions particularly about the mobile app, my recommendation is to go to help.gohighlevel.com. And this is also for Mario. Type in SaaS, right? This will give you all the information related to SaaS. SaaS mode FAQs is a great one, right? For you, Mark, if you go to mobile apps overview, this will give you the full lowdown of the mobile app, the look and feel, step by step. It does a better job than I could ever do for you, right? This is just all here, how to make phone calls, how to use the calendar, review requests, all the functionalities here, right? So hope those two areas help you out, the both of you, right? So we're going to continue on here. So the next thing here now is the actual setup of the conversation AI, right? So someone purchased our product. We have to now fulfill it. I went over this on day 2 or day 3 or day 1. I went over it, but I'll go over it again here because we have some new people. But here's a high-level overview on how you set this up. But then again, you have to go through the actual modules to get the step-by-step so you don't miss anything. So 2 areas that we need to go to. First, we need to go to the agency view, where we're at now. We need to go to settings. And what we're doing here is we're activating the conversation AI feature. Because there's a monetary value to it, you have to manually activate it, right? So we have to find our account. We have to make sure it's enabled, right? So we enable it on the agency account. Then we have to go to the sub account, our customer's account or our account, right? However you want to do it. But whoever needs the AI activated, we got to go to their account. And then we're going to go immediately to settings. We're going to go to conversation AI. And there's a couple of important parts that you need to take a note of. First, we want to work on this bot settings tab. We want to make sure it's on autopilot. We want to make sure it's only on live chat, right? Unless we activate our other features and we have all that going, just live chat will give you exactly what you need if everything else is not activated, right? Want to make sure we're filling in our information. Autopilot mode, it's important to know that if you set it up for 1 second, it'll respond within 1 second. 3 seconds, respond within 3 seconds. Change it to minutes, it'll take that time to respond. I say between 3 to 5 seconds is a natural approach, best way to go. Maximum messages is where it'll stop responding. In the digital citizen world we live in, people will spam you and try to run up your bank account out of spite. So we want to make sure that maybe this is a 10 message limit or a 20 message limit. Let's say 15, it'll stop. If you don't know what that means or how it works, hover over the eye. The bot will go to sleep for that contact if this limit is reached in that conversation. To reactivate the bot again, mark the conversation as read, right? There you go. If you find that the customer you have is a little bit more of an active user, you can upgrade to $78 a month for the unlimited conversation method for this sub account, right? This part's done. We want to then go to the bot training. And this is second most important part. You want to make sure that you're scanning your customer's website. So that way it has all the right information want to make sure the website's obviously updated. But if they have a FAQ, a privacy page, information page, services page, you want to scan those. So an example of that is what I've done with our high level. I've scanned all of our high level pages. So therefore, any information or questions that come up to our bot, it can answer it. But I've also created a Google Doc. I've also created a Google Doc with some other questions and answers that come up as well. And in that Google Doc, I've made the link public. So that way, when I have the bot scan it, it can grab the information on there and train the bot to answer it. Right? So there's a couple ways that you could train your bot. You can have it scan the websites. You can have it scan a Google Doc. Or you can manually add in questions and answers one by one. All of this must be done for the bot to work. So step one that I shared, and now this is the training, all must be done. When doing this, you then want to go to configure intents. And this came up a question before about appointments, calendars. If you wanted to book appointments, you have to enable it. And you have to edit some questions of supporting those appointments. And then you have to pick the calendar you wanted to use to book the appointments. So that way, you're able to get it what it needs to do the job right the first time. Brian Del Torzo had a question. If you make changes to the Google Doc, will the URL be scanned again? Or do you have to manually ask it to be scanned again? Great question. Great question. I'll show you that next. But we want to get this booking appointment set up go. You got to make sure it's set up. We're going to go to the bot training again for Brian's question. Brian, answer your question. You want to go to that Google Doc that you have uploaded right here. Last time it was scanned was on 3/29/2024. I'm going to hit the refresh. And it's going to scan it again. And then that refresh will get all the updated information. If you remove things from the doc, it'll remove it from its memory. So make sure that the information on there is up to date, but also you want to don't remove what's good, right? Or what's been going well, right? And that answers that question. That covers the AI setup from the conversation AI. Now, part two to this is very important. So we're going to go back to the settings. We're going to go to sites. The conversation AI is the brain to the feature, which is the chat widget. So the conversation AI is the brain to the feature, the chat widget. So we go to sites. We go to chat widget. This has all the settings, options. Go line by line. Go to each area. It's important that you want to make sure this is set for live chat. Live chat gives a two-way communication. If you leave SMS or email chat, this is for like a contact us form, a glorified contact us form. You want live chat. Okay? The widget window has a bunch of settings, color, business name, information, language, time, and then the acknowledgement settings. Adding contact information, next steps, all that good stuff. So now that you did all this, you want to make sure you hit save. You don't hit save, it will not update the link you will need. So this save button is more important than any other one because when you hit the save button on this, it'll generate a new code based on those settings. You want to copy that code if you're doing it on an external site. So this is part 3 to installing the chat widget. A couple scenarios that come up often. Scenario one is somebody has a high-level website that you created and you're installing the chat widget. Well, by all means, you could just activate it and be good to go. Scenario two is that they have a WordPress website. A WordPress website, specifically WordPress. You can get it, click on Get It for WordPress. We have a plugin that works directly with WordPress that streamlines this whole entire process for you. And it's labeled Lead Connector. Again, high level remains behind the scenes. Lead Connector is the gray label, supportive, customer facing for you. Follow the instructions, very detailed step by step. The third scenario is you have a GoDaddy site, a Wix site, or something outside of high level or WordPress. And that's where you'll need the code. So you'll click on Get Code, copy the code, and you'll copy this code in the body or the footer section of the website, each page. Each page that you want this widget on, you have to copy it to that page. People typically put it on the Contact Us page, the main services page, and the home page. And About Us page. Copy that into the code, you're good to go. You have a question about it? Go to the help.gohighlevel.com, type in install chat widget. How to add chat widget to funnels, websites, and WordPress sites. Perfect. Click on that. Step by step. Duda, Weebly, Wix, Shopify, Squarespace, Shop, all here. Video, step-by-step instructions. All here for you. Our product marketing team, our product developers, support superhumans. All these people put this together for you because these are questions that come up over and over and over and over. This is not unique to you. We want to make sure you have everything you need to give you a smooth experience to serve your customers. So please leverage this help section of our website. It's always ever being updated. It's always updated. Right? This should cover a majority of what is probably running through your mind. Right? So important. And we basically have covered pretty much everything from a system setup. Now, the last thing I want to go over here as we start to wrap up here is our invoice walkthrough. All right. So it's important to know this because there's a couple different places you can go for different things, right? But when it comes to payments, and if you're setting this up for the first time, you want to go to the Payments tab, and you want to go to Integrations. And this is where you can integrate your payment provider. Now, my recommendation is, if you don't have an account already, you want to go to that direct site to Stripe, PayPal, Authorize, NMI, whatever the case may be, create an account within their main website, because what will happen then here is you'll click Connect, and then it'll ask you to log in using your credentials, right? So make sure you have a login information so you can just streamline and connect it. And then when doing so, you can go to the invoice section. You can create a new invoice. You can do a one-time invoice or a recurring template. You can create a subscription by adding it here. You can create custom payment links to send out. You can activate tap to pay. You can activate coupons. You can create e-commerce products. And you have a wealth of additional settings when it comes to receipts, taxes, notifications, shipping, and delivery. All available to you in this one section here. Right? Very robust, very easy on the eyes, very clear, direct. You don't have to go through mazes, not complicated. It was created like this by design for you. There are programs out there that offer more robust, multiple clicks and screens and this, that, and the other, but it all serves one purpose. Can my payment integration be connected? And I send an invoice to get paid? If so, what do I do next? That's the concept I need you to just keep in the back of your mind so you don't get distracted by other shiny products that are out there, where the true benefit of having payments integrated in your high level for you and your customers is communication and accessibility, right? Streamlining that whole flow, because the payments that you come in, you're sending it to contacts in your list. And then when payment comes in, maybe you're booking appointments through the calendar. And then maybe you're giving them access to a service or a feature. So it all works together. Please keep that in mind. Okay. So I went over invoices. That pretty much concludes it. I just want to touch on one more area because I believe it's important since we have some new folks that jumped in. If you don't have access, right, first you need a trial. First you need an account, whether you're a customer or you're on a trial, you need access to high level. Once you get in, you want to go to university. You may have some courses, you may not. You want to go to the 5-day AI challenge. That will open up this. This will have all your courses from day 1 through 5 ready to go for you. Right? And that way you can go step by step. But this is different than the live sessions. Right? This is different than the live session. So these videos are more technically in depth and specifically created for you to do what you need to do. Okay? Keep that in mind. If you have any questions, jot them down. Rosie's question, do we have access to all SaaS features during trial? If you have the SaaS mode trial, yes. If you have the SaaS mode trial, yes. Right? You can experience it. But you have to also integrate everything. You have to do a complete setup. Right? We've gone over a lot. We have a lot that we covered. You have a lot to do on your end, right? And we knew that walking into this challenge. We knew that the important part of really being successful in this challenge is executing on the actions and the to-do list. And in doing so, our job is to prepare you with everything you need for this roadmap experience of knowing where things are at, how they work, how to get started, a technical approach, a resourceful guide, and a practical approach. And I'm hoping that this has been helping you as you've been going. But we're on day 4. And if you haven't completed day 1 through 3, you got to go back and start from the beginning and catch up at the end with the live sessions. You'll be doing yourself a disservice if you just start here, because we've gone over so much more to get to this point, right? But don't worry. The courses, the trainings are about 3 to 5 minutes long in content. The trainings are about an hour. The live sessions are about an hour. So there's enough that you can grab as you go. But the priority is the course. That's the priority. And I say that confidently because the course gets you fully set up. I'm just adding some color and context to it, some strategy, some positioning, maybe some motivation and some reinforcement, but you got to go and get your system set up completely. That being said, tomorrow we're going to kick off again 12 p.m. sharp. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about ascension and retention, right? Getting our customers fully up and running, right? Getting referrals, expanding our offers, adding new features, and then keeping them. Keeping them is key, right? Churn, a term used in the software as a service industry, is another word for cancellation. And we know that if you can keep a customer active within the first 90 days, using the features, getting on the mobile app, seeing the benefit, experiencing your support, understanding the potential, using it themselves, having their team use it, their churn reduces because they're active users. Think about maybe you have a subscription on monthly recurring that you don't use often, but you like to have it and you pay for it because you want to be able to jump in whenever you want. Well, that doesn't always apply well in softwares like ours, right? Because you're going to be selling this for about $197, maybe $297, and maybe it's going to bother them if they see that billing come in every month and they're not getting anything for it, right? But if they see that billing coming in at $197 a month and they know your name, they got to know you personally, they have your information, they always hear from you, they see emails, they see videos, you've educated them, you helped them grow in their business. Well, really, the 197 is just a reminder every day of how amazing you are, how resourceful you are, and how important your software is. But if you're not doing any of the above, it's a reminder that I got to cancel that right away. So, with that being said, y'all were amazing. Shout out to my colleague Jordan Matthias for just keeping the chat here in order, helping people get answers. Thank you all to our guest, our audience, Sana, Rosie, Mario, Brian, Mike, Mark, right? Kashif, Rob, Drew, all of you. Javier, welcome. Javier, let's give Javier a round of applause. He's first timer, jumped in the course. So we always love to see first timers. We got Dwight, Isham. I mean, there's a whole bunch of y'all, right? Right. But one thing I noticed here is that as we get into like day 3, 4, and 5, we do lose. We do lose people that they maybe realize this isn't for them. They do realize that this is complicated. This is the real business model. This is something that I could do, but I can't commit to. And now is not the right time for me. So I applaud you for sticking in tight. I applaud you for running through the brick wall hard, right? Like Sonic the Hedgehog for any of my past gamers or 80s babies here. Sonic the Hedgehog was always my favorite, breaking through walls. But kudos for you being here. Maybe you didn't take complete action. This is a reminder to go back and take complete action. Get your system up and running. Get your knowledge always ever evolving, and you'll be just fine, right? We have an amazing group, amazing community. If you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, go ahead and jump in to the 5-day Facebook group. The link is in the course. And make sure you introduce yourself. Say hi, share a video or a photo. Let us know a little bit about your story and why you're here, and maybe what help you need or how you can help others. Other than that, it was a pleasure. Y'all have been great. We'll see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. Ascension to retention. Be there or be squared. I'm excited to have you join us. And on the path we go to getting your first paying customer, all in your control. Till tomorrow.